තෙරුවන් සරණයි සියලු දෙනාටම තෙරුවන් සරණයි සියලු දෙනාටම good evening all namo buddhaya very warm welcome to our regular Saturday evening Dhamma Dana program hosted by lecturer Dhamma Niketane Buddhist Center. Saturday evening, we join with lecturer Dhamma Niketane Buddhist Center to do our weekly Dhamma Dana blessing program. You can sponsor these programs, gain the highest merits. Dhamma Dana is the highest merits. By sharing the Dhamma Dana, we can share the happiness and also a lot of benefits of the teachings of the Buddha. So today, this Dhamma Dana very kindly sponsored by Mr. Rasika Jayawardane, Mrs. Wipuli, son Vidun, daughter Vidunya and family. They are sponsoring today this program, particularly to share the blessing with beloved son Vidun Jayawardane, wishing him a very happy birthday. That was on yesterday, 10th of September. So we, everyone, venerable monks, as well as all in the Dhamma community, wish Vidun Jayawardane a very happy birthday. May all your future expectations come true. May you progress in your studies with good health and also bright colors. Especially Vidun is one of the leading students in the Dhamma school, a very hardworking, excellent attending, and really interested in learning the teachings. Nothing can compare to the discipline. If you are not a person who listens, if you are not a person who is calm, who is patient, even though you come every day to the Dhamma school, even though you learn all the Buddhism, that does not make. There are learned Buddhists, but they can't call as good people. So in that sense, Vidun is a very humble, very respectful, very kind student in the Dhamma school. Therefore, I'm really happy that family of Rasika Jayawardane and Mrs. Wipuli as parents, they always give the Dhamma blessing to their children. So therefore today this program we dedicate as a form of blessing to wish Vidun Jayawardane a very happy birthday. Also to all the family and particularly those beloved parents, grandparents who are no longer with us, may they share our blessings and merits. That was the purpose of the main sponsor of today's program. We are very kind for their sponsorship because it helps the temple to maintain for the benefit of all. Especially this is a very special time we call 3 months rainy retreat time, Vasala season. During this month of 3 months, whatever we do is gain more higher benefits, more higher blessings. And to understand what is Vasana 3 months rainy retreat, what is Katina is very important part of our Buddhist practice. So therefore, in addition to our regular Saturday evening Dhamma Dana program hosted by lecturer Dhamma Niketane Buddhist Center, today we also participate into this Vasana season Dhamma sharing, Dhamma blessings. May those blessings bring you all the good health, protection, happiness, and also the fulfillment of Dhamma expectations, Dhamma aspirations. Now we are going to start our program today. We take the precepts and pay our homage to the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. After that, we will listen to the Sinhala Dhamma sermon, and then few minutes of chanting protection blessings. After that, we'll discuss the English Dhamma sermon. Then we do our children Dhamma program. After that, few minutes of meditation to end our program today. To observe the 5 precepts, please say Namo Tassa 3 times.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Buddhang saranang gacchami.
Buddhang saranang gacchami.
Dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dhammang saranang gacchami.
Sanghang saranang gacchami.
Sanghang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Tutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Tutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Tutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Anatipata veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami.
Panatipata veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami.
Adinnadana veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami.
Adinnadana veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami.
Kamesu micchācara veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami.
Kamesu micchācara veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami.
Musāvādā veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami.
Musāvādā veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami.
Turamēraya majjapamā dattānā veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami.
Turamereya majjapamā dattānā veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Very good. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. We pay our homage to the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. May the blessings be with you all to find the happiness, protection, good health, and all the fulfillment of the aspirations. Bearing this in our heart, let us join to pay our homage to the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, and offer the all offerings to the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, and to the objects of veneration. Children, don't just sit there. Please learn the gathas and say out loud. It is very important part that you learn the gathas. At the end of the Dhamma school life, if you don't know the gathas, that can be a great shame. So make yourself work hard during this Dhamma school life to learn the gathas properly. We don't have the opportunity to check it with you individually. We believe that you are following that. So let us take few minutes to chant out loud so that you get the vibration blessing into your household as well. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Iti piso bhagava araham samma sambuddho vijjācarana sampanno
Sugato lokarido
anuttaro purisa dhamma sarati satta deva manussanam buddho bhagavati buddhaṃ jīvitaṃ yāva nibbānaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi swākkāto bhagavata dhammo sanditthiko akāliko
ehipansiko
opanayiko paccattaṃ veditam bo viññohiti Dhammaṃ jīvitaṃ yāva nibbānaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi supatipanno bhagavato sāvaka saṅgho ujjupatipanno bhagavato sāvaka saṅgho ஞாயபட்டிபன்னோ
bhagavato sāvaka saṅgho
sāmīci patipanno bhagavato sāvaka saṅgho yatidaṃ cattari purisa yugāni atta purisa puggala esa bhagavato sāvaka saṅgho ahuneyyo pahuneyyo dakkineyyo anjali karaniyo anuttaraṃ puññaṃ
puññaṃ
lokassāti saṅgham jīvitaṃ
yāva nibbānaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi
Vandāmi cētiyaṃ sabbhaṃ
sabbhatānesu patintitam
sāririka dhātu
mahābodhiṃ buddha rūpaṃ sakalam sadā
yassa mūle nisinnova
sabbāri vijayaṃ akāpat
to sabbang
yutaṃ
yutam
santā vande
tang
bodhipadakam
ime ete maha bodhi
lokanatena pujita
ahang pite namassami
bodhiraja namantute
Ganasarappaditena
dīpena tamadamsina
Tilokadipang
sambuddham pujayami tamonudam
Ganda sambhara yuttena
dupena sugandhina
Pujaye pujaniyantang
pujabhajana uttamam
Vanna ganda gunopetang
etang kusuma santating
Pujayami
munindassa siripada saroruve
Pujemi buddhang
kusumena nena punyena metena
Labami mokkang puppang milayati
yata idammi kayo
tatayati
vinasa bhavang
Sugandang sitalang kappang
pasanna madurang subang
Paniya
metam
metam
bhagava
patigannatu
patiganatuttama
Adivase tuno bhante
ඥාන
kilana
පංචයං
panchayang
ඉමං
anukampang
උපාදාය
patigannatu uttama Adivase tuno bhante
සම්බං
sabbang
සද්ධාය පූජිතං
anukampang
උපාදාය පතිගන්නාතු උත්තම
Kayena vacha chittena
පමාදේන මයා කතං
Acchayang kamami bhante
භූරිපඤ්ඤ තථාගත
Kayena vacha chittena
පමාදේන මයා කතං
Acchayang kamami dhamma
සන්දිට්ඨික අකාලික
Kayena vacha chittena
පමාදේන මයා කතං
Acchayang kamami sangha
සුපටිපන්න අනුත්තර
Mina punya kammena
මාමේ බාල සමාගමෝ
Satan
ගමෝ
samagamo
යාව නිබ්බාන පන්තියා
Akasatta ca bhummatta
දේවානාගා මහින්దికා
Punyantang
අනුමෝදිත්වා චිරන් රක්ඛන්තු
ලෝක
ශාසනං
Akasatta ca
බුම්මට්ටා දේවානාගා මහින්దికා
Punyantang
අනුමෝදිත්වා චිරන්
රක්ඛන්තු දේශනං Akasatta ca
බුම්මට්ටා දේවානාගා මහින්దికා
Punyantang anumoditva
චිරං
රක්ඛන්තු
රක්ඛන්තු
මං
මං
පරන්ති ඉදං මේ ඥාතිනං හෝතු
සුඛිතා
සුඛිතාවන්තු
හොන්තු ඥාතයෝ
ඉදං මේ ඥාතිනං
නං
හෝතු
හෝතු
සුඛිතාවන්තු ඥාතයෝ ඉදං මේ ඥාතිනං
නං
හෝතු
හෝතු සුඛිතා හොන්තු ඥාතයෝ
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Now we are going to start our Sinhala Dhamma sermon, which may take 15 to 20 minutes. During that time, those who do not understand the language, they can practice few minutes of meditation in the intention that they are listening to the Dhamma, the teachings of the Buddha. It's a form of meditation we call Dhammanussati. recollection of the Dhamma. මේ වෙලාවේදී අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ සෑම සෙනසුරාදා දවසක lecture ධම්මනිකේතන බෞද්ධ මධ්‍යස්ථානයේ සිදු කරනු ලබන ආශිර්වාද පූජාව ධර්ම දානමය පින්කම සිද්ධ කරන්නටයි. ඒ පින්කමේ සිංහල ධර්මානුශාසනාව අද දවසේ සිද්ධ කරන්නටයි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ. මෙබඳු වූ ධර්ම දානමය පින්කමක් සියලු දෙනාටම සලසා ගන්නට පුළුවන් අවස්ථාවක්. ධර්ම දානමය පින්කම තමයි පින්කම් අතර ඉහළම පින්කම. විශේෂයෙන් මේ පවතින්නේ වස්සාන කාලයයි. මේ වස්සාන කාලය තුල සිදු කරන ධර්ම දාන පින්කම් ඉතා ශ්‍රේෂ්ඨ පින්කම් හැටියට ආනිසංසදායක පින්කම් හැටියට සලකන්නට පුළුවන්කම තිබෙනවා. අද දවසේ ධර්ම දානමය පින්කමේ දායකත්වය අරගෙන කටයුතු කරන්නේ රසික ජයවර්ධන මහත්මයා, විපුලි ජයවර්ධන නෝනා මහත්මිය, විදුන් පුතණුවන්, විදුන්‍යා දියණිය ඇතුළු පවුලේ සියලු දෙනා විසින්. විශේෂයෙන් අද ධර්ම දානමය පින්කමේ ආශිර්වාද තුලින් බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ සැප්තැම්බර් 10 වන දින ඊයේ උපන් දිනය සිහිපත් කළ විදුන් බෝමෙත් පුතණුවන්ට සෙත් පතන්නට ආශිර්වාද කරන්නට. නිසා අපි හැම දිනම මේ උදාර පින්කමේ ආශිර්වාදයෙන් විදුන් බෝමෙත් පුතණුවන්ට නිදුක් නිරෝගී වාසනාවන්ත සුබ උපන් දිනයක් වේවා කියලා ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරනවා. ජය ශ්‍රී මහා බෝධීන් වහන්සේගේ දළදා වහන්සේගේ ආශිර්වාද ලැබිලා අධ්‍යාපන අනාගත කටයුතු සාර්ථක කරගෙන උසස් ජීවිතයක් සාක්ෂාත් කරගන්නට මේ උතුම් ධර්ම ආශිර්වාදය හේතු වාසනා වේවා. සියලු නවග්‍රහ දුස්සඳුරු දුහරදර බාධක දුරු වේවා කියන ප්‍රාර්ථනාව ඇති කරගෙනයි මේ ධර්ම දානමය පින්කම සිද්ධ කරනු ලබන්නේ. ඒ වගේම පවුලේ සියලු දෙනාටම ආශිර්වාද කරන්නටත් දෙපාර්ශ්වයේම දෙමව්පියන්ට පින් අනුමෝදන් කිරීමත් මේ උතුම් ධර්ම දානමය පින්කම තුලින් බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා. ඔබ හැම දිනාටමත් ඒ උතුම් ධර්ම දානමය ආශිර්වාදයෙන් සියලු යහපත සැලසේවා කියන ආශිර්වාදයෙන් අපි අද දවසට નિયમિત සිංහල ධර්මානුශාසනාව ආරම්භ කරන්නටයි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ. ඒ සඳහා සිංහල ධර්මානුශාසනාව පවත්වන ලෙස මා ඊටාම ගෞරවයෙන් ආරාධනා කර සිටිනවා මාතර දික්වැල්ල වැවරු කන්නල බුදුරජ මහා විහාරස්ථානයේ විද්‍යාතුංග පිරිවෙනේ පරිවෙනාධිපති වශයෙන් කටයුතු කළ ජර්මනියේ බර්ලින් බෞද්ධ විහාරය අනුශාසක වශයෙන් කටයුතු කරන අතිගෞරවනීය දික්වැල්ලේ සීල සුමන හාමුදුරන් වහන්සේ විසින් සිංහල ධර්මානුශාසනාව පවත්වනු ලබනවා. විශේෂයෙන් මේ වස් කාලය තුල අපි නොයෙක් සූත්‍ර ධර්ම පිළිබඳව ධර්මදේශනා මාලාවක් හැටියටයි මේ සෙනසුරාදා පින්කම සිදු කරනු ලබන්නේ. ඒ පින්කමේ අද දවසේ අපි සිදු කරන්නේ වසල සූත්‍රය පිළිබඳව. වසල සූත්‍රය නැත්නම් අග්ගික භාරද්වාජ සූත්‍රය පිළිබඳව ධර්මදේශනා මාලාවයි. ඉතින් මේ ධර්මදේශනා මාලාවේ 8 වෙනි ගාථාව පැහැදිලි කරමින් පවත්වන ධර්මානුශාසනාවයි අද දිනේට નિયમિતව තිබෙන්නේ. ඒ උතුම් ධර්මානුශාසනාව පවත්වන ලෙස අපි ගෞරවයෙන් ආරාධනා කර සිටිනවා අති ගෞරවනීය දික්වැල්ලේ සීල සුමන පඬිත් හාමුදුරන් වහන්සේට කවුරුත් ආරාධනා කිරීමක් වශයෙන් ගෞරවයෙන් සාදුකාර පවත්වමින් ධර්ම ශ්‍රවණයට සූදානම් වෙන්න.
නමෝ තස්ස භගවතු අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස යෝ ඥාතිනං සඛීනං වාදාරේ සුපතිදිස්සති සහසා සම්පියේන වා තංජඤ්ඤා වසලෝ ඉති. ගෞරවනීය හාමුදුරන් වහන්සේ, දූ දරුවනි, දෙමාපියනි, වසල සූත්‍රයේ 8 වෙනි ගාථා ධර්මයයි මේ මාතෘකාව වශයෙන් ලැබුවේ. මේ ගාථාවෙන් කියවෙන සරල අදහස තමයි යම් කෙනෙක් නෑයන්ගේ නැත්නම් යාළුවන්ගේ භාර්යාවන් කෙරෙහි බලාත්කාරයෙන් අනාචාරයෙන් හැසිරෙනවා නම් ඒ වගේ පුජ්‍යලයක් වසලයක් කියන එකයි ඒ ගාථාවෙන් කියවෙන සරල අදහස. බුදුහාමුදුරුවෝ වසල කියන වචනයට ඒක පදනම් කරගෙන පුළුල් අර්ථ විවරණයක් කරලා තියෙනවා. එමගින් ආධ්‍යාත්මික ඒ වගේම සංස්කෘතික වටිනාකමින් යුක්ත ධර්ම කාරණා 33ක්ම දේශනා කරලා තියෙනවා. බ්‍රාහ්මණ සමාජයක සිද්ධාන්ත වශයෙන් මුල් බැසගෙන තිබිච්ච සමාජයේ දූෂිත බවට පත්වෙච්ච කරුණු මිත්‍යා සංකල්පයන් විස්තර කරලා තියෙන මේ සූත්‍ර දේශනාවේ ඒ වසල කාරණා ධර්ම 33 අතුරෙන් අනාචාරය හැසිරීම ගැනයි මේ ගාථාවෙන් කියවෙන්නේ. ධර්මයට අනුව කාම මිත්‍යාචාරය කියන්නේ කාමයේ වරදවා හැසිරීමට නැත්නම් ඒ ලෝක චාරිත්‍ර වලට ගැලපෙන්නේ නැති විදියට කාමයේ හැසිරීමටයි කාම මිත්‍යාචාරය කියලා කියන්නේ. සාමි පුරුෂයෙකු විසින් හරි මාපිය සහෝදරාදීන් විසින් හරි ආරක්ෂා කරන ස්ත්‍රියක එක්ක බලයෙන් හරි ඒ සතුටුව කරවා ගැනීමට නැත්නම් සතුටු කරවා ගැනීමෙන් හරි කාමයේ වරදවා හැසිරීමෙන් ඒ පුරුෂයන්ට කාම මිත්‍යාචාරය ඒ පාපය සිද්ධ වෙනවා. ඒ වගේම තමන් ආරක්ෂා කරන පුරුෂයෙකු ඉඳෙද්දී පරපුරුෂයන් එක්ක කාමයේ හැසිරීමෙන් ස්ත්‍රීන්ට කාම මිත්‍යාචාර පාපය සිද්ධ වෙන බව තමයි ධර්මයේ දක්වලා තියෙන්නේ. සාමි පුරුෂයන් නැති මව්පියාදීන් විසින් ආරක්ෂා කරන ස්ත්‍රීන් කාමයේ හැසිරීමෙන් පුරුෂයන්ට පමණක් කාම මිත්‍යාචාර පාපය සිද්ධ වෙනවා කියන එකයි දක්වන්නේ. ඒ වගේම ස්වාමි පුරුෂයෙකු විසින් ආරක්ෂා කරන ස්ත්‍රියක් එක්ක කාමයේ වර්ධවා හැසිරීමෙන් ස්ත්‍රී පුරුෂ දෙදෙනාටම මේ පාපයක් සිද්ධ වෙනවා. කාම මිත්‍යාචාර කර්මය සිද්ධ වන්නට අංග 4ක් සම්පූර්ණ වෙන්නට ඕනේ කියන එක තමයි අපේ ධර්මයේ දක්වලා තියෙන්නේ. ඉන් පළවෙනි කාරණය තමයි සේවනය නොකළ යුතු ස්ත්‍රියක පුරුෂයෙකු වෙන්නට ඕන. දෙවෙනි කාරණය තමයි ඒ සේවනය කරන්නට සිතක් ඇතිවීම. තුන්වෙනි කාරණය තමයි සේවනය කරන්නට උත්සාහ කිරීම. හතරවෙනි කාරණය තමයි සේවනයේ ඉවසීම නැත්නම් එහි ආස්වාදයේ විඳීම කියන කාරණා 4. මේ කාරණා 4 තමයි ඒ කාම මිත්‍යාචාර අකුසල කර්මයේ සිද්ධ වෙන්නට සම්පූර්ණ වේතු කරුණු 4 ඇටියට දක්වලා තියෙනවා. අනුන්ලවා ඒ ප්‍රාණඝාතය නැත්නම් සතුන් මෙරීම කරනකොට ඒ කරවන්නාහටත් කර්මය සිදු වෙනවා වගේ මේ අනුන්ලවා කරවීමෙන් සිදුවන කර්මයක් නොවේ. අනුන්ගේ නියෝගයකින් කළත් කර්මය කරපු අයට මිසක් අනකරපු අයට ඒක හිමවන්නේ නැහැ. ඒ වගේම සීලාදී ගුණ නැති අය එක්ක මිත්‍යාචාරය නැත්නම් අනාචාරය යෙදීම අල්ප සාවාද්‍ය නැත්නම් අඩු වැරද්දක් ලෙස අල්ප දෝෂයක් ලෙසයි දැක්වෙන්නේ. ගුණ තියෙන අය එක්ක ඒ දූෂණය කිරීම මහා සාවාද්‍ය දෙයක් ඇටියට තමයි නැත්නම් මහා වැරද්දක් ලෙසයි දක්වන්නේ. ගුණ අඩු පුජ්‍යලයන් කෙරෙහි බලයෙන් මිත්‍යාචාරය නැත්නම් අනාචාරය යෙදීම මහා සාවද්‍ය ලොකු වැරද්දක් හැටියටයි දක්වලා තියෙන්නේ. ඒ වගේම දෙන්නගෙම කැමැත්ත ඇතුව හැසිරෙනවා නම් ඒ අල්ප සාවද්‍ය අඩු වැරද්දක් හැටියටයි දක්වන්නේ. දෙන්නාගේම කැමැත්ත ඇතිව ක්ලේශයන්ගේ හා උපක්‍රමයන්ගේ මෘදුත්වයෙන් ඒක සිද්ධ වෙනවා නම් ඒක අල්ප සාවද්‍ය වැරද්දක් හැටියටයි දක්වන්නේ. ක්‍රූරත්වයෙන් මහා සාවද්‍ය ඒ ක්‍රූරත්වයෙන් ඒ ක්‍රියාව කරනවා නම් ඒක මහා සාවද්‍ය ක්‍රියාවක් හැටියට පාපයක් හැටියටයි දක්වන්නේ. කාම මිත්‍යාචාරයේ යෙදුණු කෙනා මෙලොවදීම නින්දාවට භාජන වෙනවා. නින්දාවට පාත්‍ර වෙනවා. සමහර විට වෙනත් කෙනෙකුගේ පහර ලැබිලා මරණීය දුකට පවාපත් වෙන්නට පුළුවන්. සමහර විට මරණයට පවාපත් වෙන්නට හේතු වෙනවා. සිරගෙයි වැටීමෙන් හරි මහත් දුකටපත් වෙනවා එවැනි පුජ්‍යලයෝ. ඒ වගේම මරණින් මත්තේ නරකාදී ඉපදිලා වර්ෂ දහස් ගාණක් දුක් විඳින්නට සිද්ධ වෙනවා. නරකාදී නිදහස් වුණාට පස්සෙත් තිරිසන් අපායේ ඉපදිලා සිය ගණන් ජාතිවලදී දුකටපත් වෙනවා. මනුෂ්‍යාත්ම භාවයෙන් ලැබුවත් මනුෂ්‍යාත්ම භාවයක් ලැබුවත් සිය ගණන් ජාතිවලදී නපුංසක ආත්ම භාවවල උප්පත්තිය ලැබෙන බව තමයි සඳහන් වෙන්නේ. පුරුෂයන් ස්ත්‍රීන් බවටත් ස්ත්‍රීන් ස්ත්‍රීත්වයෙන් මිදෙන්නේ නැතුව විරූප වෙන බවක් දක්වනවා. ජනතාවට අප්‍රිය පුජ්‍යලයක් බවට පත් වෙනවා. බොහෝ සතුරන් ඇතිව රෝගීන් බවට පත්වන පුජ්‍යලයක් බවටයි එවැනි පුජ්‍යලයෝ පත් වෙන්නේ. අපේ බුදුදහමේ වඩාත් අගය කරලා තියෙන බ්‍රහ්මචාරී ජීවිතය. ඒකට හේතුව කාමයන්ගෙන් වෙන් වෙලා ගත කිරීම නිර්වාණයට නැත්නම් නිවන් අවබෝධ කර ගැනීමට උපකාරී වෙන නිසා. අබ්‍රහ්මචාරී ජීවිතයකින් කාමය උද්දීපනය වෙන්නට කිසිද ක්‍රියාවක ඉඩක් නැහැ. කාමයේ උද්දීපනය වෙන්නේ නැහැ. අබ්‍රහ්මචාරී ජීවිතයක් තුළින් උපරිම කාමයේ වරදවා හැසිරීම වශයෙන් අරගෙන කාමී සුමිච්ඡාචාරා කියන සිල්පදයෙන් ගිහියාට දක්වලා තියෙනවා. ඒ ගෘහස්ත සීලය ගෙදර ඉඳගෙනම ආරක්ෂා කරන්න පුළුවන් සීලය තමයි පංච සීලය කියන්නේ. ඒ පංච සීලය තුල උගන්වන්නේ කාමී සුමිච්ඡාචාරා කියන සිල්පදේ. ඒක තමයි උපරිම වශයෙන් ගිහියාට කාමයේ වරදවා හැසිරීම අරගෙන එකකින් වළකීමට දක්වන ලද ශික්ෂාපදේ. ඒත් ගිහියන්ට අබ්‍රහ්මචාරීව කටයුතු කරන්නට අවම වශයෙන් අඩු වශයෙන් ඒ පොහොය දවසේවත් වෙන් කරන්න ඕන බව තමයි දක්වන්නේ. හැම දවසකම කාමයේ වරදවා හැසිරීමෙන් වෙන් වෙන්නට ඕන. ඒ බුදුදහමෙන් ඒක ගිහියාට උපදෙස් දීලා තියෙනවා. නමුත් පැවිද්දා තමන්ගේ ජීවිත කාලයම අබ්‍රහ්මචාරියාවෙන් යුක්තව කටයුතු කළ යුතුයි කියන එක තමයි ධර්මයේ උගන්වන්නේ. ඒක පැවිද්දාගේ නිවන් මඟ වේගවත් කිරීමට හේතුවක් ඇටියටයි දක්වන්නේ. ගිහි පැවිදි සමානත් දක්වනකොට සංසන්දනය කරනකොට පැවිද්දාගේ නිවනට යන ගමන් මාර්ගයේ වේගවත් වෙන්නට හේතුව මේ කාමයෙන් වෙන්වීම. ඇස කන නාසය යන ඉන්ද්‍රියයන්ගෙන් අරමුණු ගන්නකොට රාගයේ උපදින ආකාරයට එකී ඉන්ද්‍රියයන් මෙහෙවීමෙන් ඒක මෙවුන්දම් සේවනය කිරීමක් ඇටියටයි දක්වන්නේ. ඒක කාම රාගය ඇති වෙන්නට හේතු වෙනවා. ඒ වගේම ඒක කාම මිත්‍යාචාරය දක්වාම විහිද යන්නට බොහෝ දුරට ඉඩ තියෙනවා. බ්‍රහ්මචාරී වීම කියලා දක්වන්නේ කාමයේ නිවැරදි හැසිරීම. එහෙම නැත්නම් කාම රාගය ඇති වෙන සියලුම ක්‍රියාකාරකම් තුලින් වැළකී සිටීමට. අට සිල්වලදී ඒ වගේම දහ සිල්වලදී ගිහියා විසින් සමාදන් වෙනකොට අබ්‍රහ්මචර්යා වේරමණී කියන ශික්ෂාපදයේ සමාදන් වෙනවා. ඒ සිල්පදයේ සමාදන් වීමේ අර්ථය තමයි අන්නේ කාමරාගයට අදාළ සියලුම ක්‍රියාකාරකම් වලින් වැළකී සිටීම. කාම මිත්‍යාචාරය නැත්නම් කාමයේ වරදවා හැසිරීම යන ක්‍රියාවලිය අටුවාවේ විස්තර කරලා තියෙනවා. කාමය කියලා කියන්නේ මෛතුන ධර්ම සමාචාරයේ ඒකාන්ත වශයෙන් නින්දිත වූ ඒ වගේම ලාමක වූ හැසිරීමක් ඇටියට තමයි අටුවාවේ විස්තර කරලා තියෙන්නේ. පුරුෂයෙක් විදියට කාමයේ යෙදෙනවා නම් කාන්තාවක් සමග වඩා වැඩි වාර ගානක් ඒ පරබාර සේවයේ යෙදිච්ච තැනැත්තෙක් ඉන්නව නම් ඊළඟ ආත්මේ ඒ පුජ්‍යලයා සමලිංගික ඇසුර ප්‍රිය කරන කාන්තාවක් ලෙසයි උප්පත්තිය ලැබෙන බව ධර්මයේ සඳහන් වෙලා තියෙනවා. ඒ වගේම මෙවැනි කාන්තාවක් වඩා පුරුෂ ගති ලක්ෂණ වලින් යුක්ත වන බවත් ස්ත්‍රීන් කෙරෙහි ලිංගික ආකර්ෂණයෙන් යුක්ත වෙන බවත් සඳහන් වෙලා තියෙනවා. තිරිසන් උප්පත්තියක කල්ප ගණන් ගෙවුවට පස්සේ පව් ගෙවුවට පස්සේ ඒ කාමයේ වරදවා හැසිරෙන පුජ්‍යලයාට මනුෂ්‍ය ලෝකේ මිනිසෙක් විදියට උප්පත්තිය ලැබෙන්නට පුළුවන්කම ලැබෙන. කාමයේ වරදවා හැසිරීමේ කර්මය ගෙවා අවසන් වෙනකොට ඒක ඊටාම ආසන්න වෙනකොට එම තැනැත්තාට උප්පත්තිය ලැබන්නේ සිල්වත් ආගමනුකූල කාන්තාවක් හැටියට තමයි ධර්මයේ විස්තර කරලා තියෙන්නේ. මෙන්න මේ ආකාරයට අපට පැහැදිලි කරගන්න පුළුවන් ඒ අනාචාරයේ හැසිරීම නැත්නම් කාමයේ වරදවා හැසිරීම තුළින් මෙලොව පරලොව වශයෙන් එක විපාක දෙන අකුසල ක්‍රියාවක් හැටියට බරපතල අකුසල ක්‍රියාවක් හැටියට ධර්මානුකූලව අපට අවබෝධ කරගන්න පුළුවන්. හැම දිනාටම තෙරුවන් සරණයි.
සාදු සාදු සාදු. ඒ උතුම් ධර්මානුශාසනාව පවත්වමින් වසල සූත්‍රය නැත්නම් අග්ගික භාරද්වාජ සූත්‍රය පිළිබඳව පවත්වන ධර්මදේශනා මාලාවේ අද දිනයට නියමිත 8 වන ගාථාව මාතෘකා කොටගෙන ධර්මානුශාසනාව පවත්වනු ලැබුවේ අතිගෞරවනීය දික්වැල්ලේ සීලසුමන පඬිත් හාමුදුරන් වහන්සේ. උන්වහන්සේ බොහොම කරුණාවෙන් අප කෙරෙහි අනුකම්පාවෙන් මේ උතුම් ධර්මානුශාසනාව පවත්වමින් අප සෑම දිනාගෙම ධර්මඥානය, සීල අවබෝධය, නිර්වාණගාමිනී ප්‍රතිපදාව දියුණු කරගන්නට ඒ දහම් ඖෂධය ලබා දීම සම්බන්ධව අපි උන්වහන්සේට පුණ්‍යානුමෝදනා කරනවා, ආශිර්වාද කරනවා, සෙත් පතනවා. මේ උතුම් පින්කමේ බලයෙන් උන්වහන්සේට නිදුක් නිරෝගී භාවයේ සැලසීලා සියලු බලාපොරොත්තු ප්‍රාර්ථනා ඉෂ්ට සිද්ධ වේවා කියලා ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරනවා. සාදු සාදු සාදු. ඒ වගේම අද දවසේ මේ උතුම් පින්කමේ දායකත්වය අරගෙන මේ දහම් පණිවිඩය සියලු දෙනාගේම හිත්වලට සමීප කරන්නට ධර්ම දානමය පින්කම සිදු කරනු ලබන්නේ රසික ජයවර්ධන මහත්මයා, විපුලි නෝනා මහත්මිය, විදුන් පුතණුවන්, විදුන්‍යා දියණිය. විශේෂයෙන් සැප්තැම්බර් මාස 10 වන දින ඊයේ දිනට යෙදුණු 12 වෙනි උපන්දිනය සිහිපත් කරගෙන විදුන් බෝමෙත් පුතණුවන්ට ආශිර්වාද කරන්නටයි අද පින්කමේ දායකත්වය අරගෙන කටයුතු කරන්නේ. තින් විශේෂයෙන් විදුන් බෝමෙත් පුතණුවන්ට නිදුක් නිරෝගී භාවයේ සැලසේවා, සියලු බලාපොරොත්තු ප්‍රාර්ථනා ඉෂ්ට සිද්ධ වන වාසනාවන්ත නිදුක් නිරෝගී සුබම සුබ උපන් දිනයක් අනන්ත ප්‍රමාණ තුනුරුවන්ගේ ආශිර්වාදයෙන් සැලසේවා කියන ප්‍රාර්ථනාවෙන් ඔබ හැම දිනාටමත් මේ ධර්මානුශාසනාවේ ආශිර්වාදයෙන් සසර දුක්ගිනි නිවි උතුම් සැනසීම සැලසේවා කියන ප්‍රාර්ථනාවෙන් අපි මේ වෙලාවේදී සිංහල ධර්මානුශාසනාව අවසන් කරනු ලබනවා. හැම දිනාටම තෙරුවන් සරණයි. Now we are moving into few minutes of Dhamma blessings. We chant the discourse on Vasala Sutta these days in line with our Dhamma Dana sharing. May this chanting of protection blessings bring all the good health, protection, progress into all of you. Bearing this in our heart, let us do the chanting of blessings. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Evaṁ me sutaṁ ekaṁ samayam bhagavās Sāvantiyam viharati jetavane anātha pindikassa ārāme atako bhagavā pumbbanna samayam nivāsettvā patta jīvara mādāya sāvantiyam pindāya pāvisi tena kopana samayena angika bhāratvājassa brāhmanassa Nivesane aggi panjalito ahuti pakkahita Atako bhagavā sāvantiyam sapadanam pindāya charamāno yena angika bhāratvājassa brāhmanassa nivesanante nupasankami addasāko angika bhāratvājo brāhmano bhagavantam duratova āgacchanta Tang diswana bhagavantang etadroca tatreva mundaka tantreva samanaka tantreva vasalaka tiṭṭāyeti evaṁ vutte bhagavā angika bhāratvājam brāhmanam etadroca jānāsi panatvaṁ brāhmana vasalam vā Vasala karane vādammeti Nakvāhaṁ bhogotama jānāmi vasalam Vasala karane vādamme Sādhu me bhavaṁ gotamo Tatā dhammam desetu Yatāhaṁ jānīyaṁ vasalam Vasala karane vādammeti Tenahi brahmana sunahi sadukam manasikaroi vasissamiti evam kotiko angika bhāratvājo brahmano bhagavato panccasso bhagavā etadavoca Kodano upanahica papamakkīca yo naro vipanna ditti māyāvi tanjaññā vasaro iti ekajaṁ vā dvijaṁ vā piyodapānāni hinsati tassa pāne dayānatti tanjaññā vasaro iti yohanti parirundati Gamani nigamani ca lingāko samanyāto tanjaññā vasalo iti Gāmi vāyadi vāraññe yam pare sammamāritan teyyādinnaṁ ādiya
තංජඤ්ඤා වසලෝ ඉති
යෝහවේ ඉනමාදාය චුජ්ජමානෝ පලායති නහිතේන මත්තිති තංජඤ්ඤා වසලෝ ඉති යෝචේ කිංචික්ක කම්යතා පන්තස්මින් වජතං ජනං හන්වා කිංචික්ක කමාදේති තංජඤ්ඤා වසලෝ ඉති යෝ අත්ථ හේතු පර හේතු ධන හේතු චයෝ නරෝ සක්කි පුට්ඨෝ මුසා ග්‍රෝති තංජඤ්ඤා වසලෝ ඉති යෝ ඥාතිනං සකානං වාදාරේසු පතිදිස්සති සහසා සම්පියේන වා තංජඤ්ඤා වසලෝ ඉති යෝ මාතරං වා පිතරං වා ජින්නකං ගත උම්බනම් පෞසන්තෝන බරති තංජඤ්ඤා වසලෝ ඉති යෝ මාතරං වා පිතරං වා භාතරං භගිනින් සසුං අන්තිරෝසේති වාචාය තංජඤ්ඤා වසලෝ ඉති යෝ අත්තං පුච්චිතෝ සන්තෝ අනත්ත මනුසාසති පටිච්චන්නේන මන්තේති තංජඤ්ඤා වසලෝ ඉති යෝ කତ୍වා පාපකං කම්මං මාමඤ්ඤඤ්ඤාති ඉච්ඡති යෝ පටිච්චන්න කම්මං තංජඤ්ඤා වසලෝ ඉති යෝ වේ පර කුලං ගන්්වා බුද්ධාන සුවිභෝජනං ආගතන්න පටිපූජේති තංජඤ්ඤා වසලෝ ඉති යෝ බ්‍රහ්මණං වා සමනං වා අඤ්ඤං වාපි වනිම්බකං මුසාවාදේන වංචේති තංජඤ්ඤා වසලෝ ඉති යෝ බ්‍රහ්මණං වා සමනං වා බත්ත කාලේ උපට්ඨිතේ රෝසේති වාචානච දේති තංජඤ්ඤා වසලෝ ඉති අසතං කෝද පබ්‍රෝති මෝහේන පලිගුණ්ඨිතෝ කිංචික්කං නිදිගින්සානෝ තංජඤ්ඤා වසලෝ ඉති යෝ චත්තානං සමුක්ඛංසේ පරංච මවජානති නිහීනෝසේන මානේන තංජඤ්ඤා වසලෝ ඉති රෝසකෝ කදරියෝ ච පාපිච්චෝ මච්චරී සටෝ අහිරිකෝ අනොත්තම්පි තංජඤ්ඤා වසලෝ ඉති යෝ බුද්ධං පරිභාසති අතවා තස්ස ශාවකං පරිම්බාජං ගාට්ඨං වා තංජඤ්ඤා වසලෝ ඉති යෝ චේ අනරහා සන්තෝ අරහං පටිජානති චෝරෝ සම්බ්‍රහ්මකේ ලෝකේ ඒසකෝ වසලා දමෝ ඒතේ කෝ වසලා වුත්තා මයාවෝ යේ පකාසිතාන ජජ්ජා වසලෝ තීන ජජ්ජා හෝති බ්‍රාහ්මනෝ කම්මනා වසලෝ හෝති කම්මනා හෝති බ්‍රාහ්මනෝ තදම්නාපි විජානාත යතාමේදං නිදස්සනං චණ්ඩාල බුද්ධෝ සෝපාගෝ මාතංගෝ ඉති විසුතෝ සෝයසං පරමං පත්තෝ මාතංගෝ යං සුදුල්ලබං ආගංජුං තස්සු පට්ඨානං කත්තියා බ්‍රාහ්මනා බවෝ සෝ දේවයාන මාරුය්‍ය විරජං සෝමාපතං කාමරාගං
විරාජෙත්වා බ්‍රහ්ම ලෝකූපගෝ
නනං ජාති නිවාරේසි
බ්‍රහ්ම ලෝකූපපන්තියා
අජ්ජායක කුලේ ජාතා
බ්‍රාහ්මනා
මත්ත බන්දුනෝ තේච පාපේසු කම්මේසු
අභින්න මුපදින්සරේ
දිත්තේව ධම්මේ ගාරයිහා සම්පරායේච
දුංගතින්
නතේ ජාති නිවාරේති
දුංගච්ඡා
ගරහාය වාන ජජ්ජා වසලෝති
නජච්ඡා හෝති බ්‍රාහ්මනෝ
කම්මනා වසලෝ හෝති කම්මනා හෝති බ්‍රාහ්මනෝ එවං උත්තේ අංගික භාරද්වාජෝ බ්‍රාහ්මනෝ භගවන්තං ඒතදෝච අභික්ඛන්තං භෝගෝතම
අභික්ඛන්තං භෝගෝතම සේයතාපි භෝගෝතම
කුංජිතං වා
උක්කුංජේය පටිච්චන්නං වා විවරේය
මූලස්සං වා මග්ගං ආචික්කේය අන්ධකාරේ වා
තේල පංජෝ තන්දාරේය
චක්ඛුමත්තෝ රූපානි
දක්ඛින්ති
ඒවමේවං බෝතා ගෝතමේන
අනේක පරියායේන ධම්මෝ පකාසිතෝ
ඒසාහං භගවන්තං ගෝතමං
සරණං ගච්ඡාමි
ධම්මං ච භික්ඛු
සංඝං ච උපාසකං මං භවං
භවං
ගෝතමෝ දාරේසු
අජ්ජතංගේ
පානුපේතං සරණං ගතන්ති
තේන සච්ච වජ්ජේන
සොත්තිතේ හෝතු සබ්බදා
ඒතේන සච්ච වජ්ජේන සම්බ රෝගෝ විනස්සතු ඒතේන සච්ච වජ්ජේන
හෝතු තේ ජය මංගලං
යන්දුන් නිමිත්තං
අවමංගලං ච යෝචාමනාපෝ
සකුණස්ස සන්දෝ පාපග්ගහෝ දුස්සුපිනං
සුපිනං අකන්තං බුද්ධානුභාවේන
විනාශමෙන්තු යන්දුන් නිමිත්තං
අවමංගලං ච යෝචාමනාපෝ අකුණස්ස සන්දෝ
පාපග්ගහෝ දුස්සුපිනං අකන්තං
භාවේන
ධම්මානුභාවේන
විනාශවෙන්තු
යන්දුන් නිමිත්තං
අවමංගලං ච යෝචාමනාපෝ ලකුණස්ස සද්දෝ
පාපංගහෝ දුස්සුපිනං අකන්තං සංඝානුභාවේන විනාශවෙන්තු කම්පත්තාච
නිද්දුංකා භයං පත්තාච
නිබ්බයා සෝකම්පත්තාච නිස්සෝකා
අන්තු සම්බේ විපානිනෝ
සබ්බේ බුද්ධා බලප්පත්තා
පච්චේකානං ච අම්බලං
අරහන්තානං ච තේජේන රක්ඛං වන්දාමි සබ්බසෝ දේවෝ වස්සතු
කාලේන
සස්ස සම්පත්තියේතු ච පීතෝ භවතු ලෝකෝ ච රාජා භවතු ධම්මිකෝ sadhu sadhu sadhu. Now we are starting our English Dhamma sermons. Every Saturday evening we host a Dhamma Dana, Dhamma sharing. Especially this 3 months is a rainy retreat season, and therefore it is a very blissful evening for Dhamma sharing. For this evening, during these Saturday evenings, we host a series of Dhamma sermons based on Vasala Sutta or Adhika Bharadwaja Sutta, known as the discourse on outcast. Today, that discourse we discuss in our Dhamma Dana, the 8th stanza, 8th Gatha. To do the Dhamma reflection on that subject, I very respectfully invite Most Reverend Dr. Dato Sumanasiri Nayakathera, Singapore, Malaysia, to make a Dhamma reflection based on that. We are very grateful for the Nayakathera, and we invite Most Reverend Dr. Dato Sumanasiri Nayakathera to make a Dhamma reflection as a form of invitation. Please say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sisters and brothers in the Dhamma, I would like to wish Vidun Jayawardane a very happy birthday. Today, as already mentioned, we are discussing the Vasala Sutta, stanza number 8. I won't give the Pali, I will go to the English straight. Whosoever, by force or with consent, associates with the wives of relatives or friends, he is an outcast. This is the theme that we are discussing today. The Buddha has outlined the natural and primary relation between man and woman. He did it on the basis of the concept of karma, intercourse, sex, sensuality. Physical sensuality, sex, engaging in sex is called karma, K-A-M-A, not to be confused with karma. And the term karma denotes subjective sensuality, that means a person's sensuality, and objective sensitivity to objects, like say for instance, karma is not only sexual intercourse. When you look at something, you like it, even a flower. So that is a desire there. But it doesn't mean it's a sin, no. Sensuality can go through pleasure, happiness as a means of enjoying the beauty of nature, that is all okay. But when it comes to sexuality, it becomes a big problem. Now, the above idea is further analyzed in very interesting discourses without any mythical intervention and kind of fabrications of stories here and there. It's a very clear-cut thing in the teachings of the Buddha. So, there were conferences on this, and I attended in the 1980s in Amsterdam University in the Netherlands, and gave a paper on this subject, Buddhism and sexual intercourse. Yeah. And also in 1990, I did a further research, and my paper was called Buddhist Moral Science and Desire, in brackets sex. That was in Manchester University in the United Kingdom. And for those of you who want to deeply go research, there's one of my 3 hours talk on Buddhism and sex in the social media. It was there in the YouTube. I don't know whether it's still there after WikiLeaks, whether they have deleted some. But there are 3 hours speech which I've done in research as a medical doctor, as a Buddhist monk, as a specialist in the field of ethics and morality as well, with my understanding and reading as a subject. And you can read a lot of material where I've made comparison and the independent view of the Buddha himself. And if you read the Vinaya Pitaka, you will be shocked and surprised how much the Buddha have expressed, because he had 45 years length to preach. He has said a lot of things on this subject as well. Now, today we are coming to the question of having sexual intercourse by force or with consent. Now, we know in British system and many Western countries, if there is consent among the adults, there's nothing wrong. But Buddha holds a different view. He says, by force or with consent, one has sex with the wives of relatives or friends. Such a person is an outcast. It's an immoral, unethical, sinful act. Because the Buddha was very clear. He was not thinking merely on social or people's justice only, but going further because there are deeper layers in the problem that we have to get down and see. Now let us take a few facts that we can always, young people, I'm sure you're curious to know all this. So refer to yourself, because Buddha have not rejected sex. He says, appasada dukkha kama. There is little sweetness in sex, in desire, but there is the highest happiness in no sex, which is called nibbana. Nibbana means no desire, no hatred, no ignorance. Now that is that ultimate absolute sense. The Buddha don't want you to live in the ultimate sense. When you are a lay person, you must enjoy sex to the fullest. There's no question about it. It is legal, ethical, and moral for parents to have conjugation. It is their right, in fact. But to have in the wrong way, unethical, immoral way, this is the Buddha's question. Because he understands, because of all those things, creates differences and conflicts in human life. In fact, his race, they did not practice polygamy. His race, the Sakya race, practiced polygamy, but not monogamy. That means Sakyans married 2-3 wives. Even today, it's still the same. But let us look at this issue from the Buddha's viewpoint, and also from our British law points, because these are important for those who are living in the United Kingdom and elsewhere to make comparative studies. Now, so in the Buddhist sense, the British law on mutual consensual consent between adults is different. Buddha says still it is an immoral act, even though adults have consented. And so the mere consent of adults is not accepted by the Buddha. Now say if you take in law, if two 15-year-olds have mutually consented, young age, 15 years old only, and they will not be prosecuted by law. But if an adult who is age 18 or over has sex with a 15-year-old, this is considered an offense, an assault, or what you call in sexuality science, sexual violence, and the person can be charged. But this does not work in the Islamic way. In the Islamic way, when a girl attains puberty, sometime 8, 9, 10, as young as that in modern day system is so early, she's considered a woman. So we live with many other communities and races and religious people. When we want to make criterion, we must be sensitive, and also we must be truthful to discuss openly. Although those who are 16 are allowed in England, young people under the age of 18 are still offered protection under the Children's Act of 1989/2004. Now, consent varies in different countries. The Pali Sutras and in the Vinaya, the book of the discipline, there are 5 books, very interesting, read them. No ethical sex is defined. It doesn't mean, this is for, I'm referring for monks, but for you, there is ethical sex for lay persons. Yeah, for monks, nuns, there's not no issue at all, this question of yes or no. Yeah, they give up sex to go to the non-sex and to get to the higher sides. But the Buddha's way of explanation for a very modernist or a person who has no religion might sound very, the Buddha becoming very anachronistic, because the issue the Buddha sees runs deeper than what people see superficially. There are a lot of things which are being implied than the normal way of expression of desire. And it's not considered compatible with our Nibbana, where there is no desire, no sex, nothing else that sort, in the Buddhist way of life, for the higher practices. So therefore, we still can keep in mind in our holy book, the Dhammapada, there is a value given, and it is already, as I mentioned earlier, a little sweetness, appasada dukkha kama. When a person sees that, the wise person, itivinyaya pandito, he gives up that. He gives up even the pleasure of going to enjoy sex in the heavens. And then he goes to the higher of no sex, no desire, the desireless, which is highest happiness in life. Now, when it comes to the duties of husband and wife, very interesting how the Buddha have given. I'm not going to explain all the duties, just taking one point. The third duty of a husband to a wife is by being faithful to the wife. No Buddhist man should believe, man is man. You can do whatever you like. No, no such thing. And at the same time, when it comes to the duty of the wife, the Buddha also say one of the 5 duties is by being faithful to her husband. So it's not only for the male, for the female as well. Very interesting, very comparative and very much egalitarian and equality. Now, in sum, to summarize my remarks today, there are 3 aspects of moral science in Buddhist theory that we look at sensuality, sexuality being expressed in different aspects. Number 1, there is enjoyment, it's accepted for the lay persons, but not wrong sex. That is why the 3rd precept is you can have the right sex and enjoy all that, but you cannot have the wrong sex. Number 2, that there are disadvantages in having sex. Number 3, and finally, there is the giving up of sex. This is not for lay person, that is for monks and nuns and yogis who want to practice celibacy. If you have not taken such vows, don't worry about all that. Just enjoy what you have in your life. Yeah. Why on certain Poya days some devotees take the precepts? There is a reason behind that. It is said in the suttas that on Poya days, and especially in the later books by Theravadins, well expressed by monks who wrote great books, that on Poya days, Lord Sakra looks at the world, and therefore it is taboo even for lay people to have sex on Poya day, once a month. This is a later interpretation, but take it into consideration as well. We have ways of how we can, it's not control, but understanding ourselves and to see the limits that we can go and not to go beyond. Despite all these early Buddha's teachings, so interestingly, remarkable house of treasure, even on this point of desire, which even Sigmund Freud said, yeah, man is fully erotic, he said. That is what psychology is all about, how it began. Despite all that, there is a tradition in Vajrayana, to some extent, which has been mixed and influenced by some corrupted sections of Hindu Tantrayana and being incorporated of ideas of spiritual sexuality, which is not found in original Buddhism. We follow and abide by the early Buddhist or earliest Buddhist teachings based on the Dhamma Vinaya, the Sutra Pitaka, and the Vinaya Pitaka, and we don't accept any other interpretations as well. By this, I hope I have stimulated some of the young children to look into the issue of sex in the discourses of the Buddha. May you understand, may you have sex when you are as a lay person and enjoy your life and know your limits and not to go by breaking the precepts of having wrong sex. And finally, by all those good realization, may all of you attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. We are very grateful to Reverend Dr. Dato Sumanisri Nayaka Thera for sharing such valuable Dhamma on our subject today. May those blessings be with him for the good health and for the happiness and the success, to also to count the blessings for the fulfillment of all the aspirations. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, fully enlightened Lord Buddha. Yo ñātīnaṁ sakānaṁ vā dhāre supati tissati sahasa sampiyena vā taññā vasalo iti. Today, our Dhamma subject is the number 8 Gatha of the Vasala Sutta or Aggika Bharadwaja Sutta, the discourse on outcast. This particular discourse delivered by the Blessed One to an ascetic who insulted Buddha as an outcast. Buddha in return asked, does he know the meaning of outcast? And then he said that he would be very happy to listen to the Blessed One, to the Lord Buddha, to understand what that word really means. Then Buddha explained certain characteristics, quite immoral characteristics, a person can do. Today, we talk about one of those things. The Blessed One said, whosoever by force or consent, with consent, associates with the wives of relatives or friends, know him as an outcast. If someone indulge in sexual misconduct with another person who is legally and morally abide by a relationship that could be with the consent or by force. However, that person is making a heinous, serious, immoral action. Respecting one's marriage and the marriage of others is a characteristic of a civilized person that maintain the stability of a family and the society in general. However, if someone engage in adultery or extramarital relationships, either by force or with the consent of the other party, it is a grossly immoral action. It can lead to destruction and suffering of not only one's own family, but other families as well. By committing sexual misconduct, one is also breaking the third of the 5 precepts of morality and committing the third of the 10 unwholesome actions. There is a very special teaching that every human being and every being has four activities. They take the food, they have emotions, and they sleep, and they reproduce, engage in sexual activities. Those are the 4 basic needs of any being, even animals. What makes people change different? By practicing morality, values in those things. Among those morality, there are three immoral things. We call raga, the lust, dvesha, the anger, moha, the ignorance. So that one of those three is the very difficult one, is called raga, and it is a very powerful flame, fire. And from the very beginning of our life, even as children, these are being given in the form of sex education, understanding our nature. There are so many, even children, being affected by abuse. Therefore, to understand moral and immoral actions and behaviors is very important, so that you can identify whether the person you are associating with a good person or a dangerous person or an outcast. Even in the Sigalovada Sutta, Buddha explained 4 bad things: taking life, stealing, sexual misconduct, and lying. Therefore, this third precept, or sexual misconduct, is really a very dangerous and also destructive characteristics. Especially these sensations, feelings that generates in the mind can burn everything down, make our life into a big danger. So we need to purify those by practicing morality we call sila. That sila is called Arya Kanta sila. That 5 precepts is mainly called Arya Kanta sila. So this third aspect, sensual pleasures, lust, is not necessarily sexual relationships. It can be all from our senses: eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind. However, when it goes into sexual relationship, the Lord Buddha has explained, if we are not maintaining legal aspect of it or some moral obligation of it, that can be a really dangerous thing. Especially in Anguttara Nikaya Thapa Sutta, monks are being advised, Abrahmacharyan Pahaya Brahmachari Hoti, which means monks or the spiritual people are being advised to avoid from all sexual relationships and practice highest morality, because that can generate a lot of negativities within their path of progress. In Majjhima Nikaya Salayaka Sutta, Buddha explained to the villagers of Salayaka, there are 10 people, particularly as womankind, that people should not be misusing. Those 10, a woman or a lady or a girl, protected by mother, protected by father, protected by both mother and father parents. Sometimes that person may not have parents, that lady or a girl protected by brother, or protected by sister, or protected by relative, or protected by their caste. Caste means family, or protected by Dhamma, you know that at the beginning in the history, this blessing thread, the white thread you normally wear when you come to the temple, started from there. So some people tie a thread on certain girls, women who are being vulnerable. So that gives the signs to protect it. So that's called Dhamma Rakkita, protected by the Dhamma. So those who are practicing certain moral life, they should not be abused. So the number 9, Sarakka. Sarakka means one who married, that belongs to some other man. And also, a person should not be abused. Saparidanda. Saparidanda means a lady being punished or put into the prison. A person is a vulnerable person. So that person should not be abused. So Buddha said to the villagers of Salayaka in the Majjhima Nikaya Salayaka Sutta, those 10 kinds of people should not be sexually harassed, sexually abused. In also in Anguttara Nikaya, Ekaka Nipata, Buddha said, Naham Bhikkave Anyam, Eka Rupampi Samanupassami. The most attractive thing in the universe, to a man, a woman, to a woman, a man. What they see, what they hear, what they sense, what they talk, and all these sensations. That is why even the psychology has taken that point, saying this kind of sexual motives are common to everyone. We can't really exclude from that. But if we purify that energy, we can get the highest blessing. In Digha Nikaya Samgiti Sutta, Buddha has mentioned 10 type of ladies that can again put into this kind of immoral action. Sometimes the person may have purchased it, but it's still wrong. And sometimes that person might have come by consent. Chanvasini. Chanvasini means a lady who has come by consent, but that lady or girl is belong into some other relationship or are under another person. So the person, if they abuse that person sexually, is an outcast. Also, sometimes people give certain things. Bhogavasini, different things like some gifts, some presents to attract that person. Or buy some dress. Patavasini. And sometimes they use that person as a servant. And again, misuse that person. And also, a person being sponsored for raising some funds. Obata chumbata, that is also very wrong action. Then sometimes they employ and then later make that person as a wife or sexually relationship. This can happen in workplaces, this can happen in other places. And Buddha said, Daja Bata, that means when there was an war, if a person, a lady or a woman was caught, and if that women are being sexually abused, that is also a misconduct, and that can call as outcast. And also, sometimes people go for prostitutes and by temporary relationship, those are also Buddha mentioned as a wrongdoing. And again, in another commentary, Buddha mentioned this to someone to commit sexual misconduct need to complete 4 things. Agama niya vattu, that means the person should be identified as a man or a woman. Sevana chittang, that person should have the intention to associate. Upakramaya sevana payogo, which means the person then plan to engage in that. Maggena maggang pativatti adivasanenti, which means then as a result, they break that patient and engage in that misconduct. That way, the person again make the wrong misconduct of that. So, in this way, Buddha has mentioned very specially to engage of those things is especially in the Anguttara Nikaya Attaka Nipata, it says that if the person conduct all these things, that person's this life can be destroyed, even the life after they can go into a lower realms like hell. If they born into a human life, in that discourse Buddha said they will face lot of dangers. Especially in the Samyukta Nikaya Veludwareya Sutta, Buddha mentioned for the monks particularly Trikoti Parisuddha. That means the monks should take extra attention to maintain their concerns about these mistakes. Particularly it says when someone being encountered of situations like that, they should understand it as a moral obligation that they should not exceed those limitations or boundaries. Lowered Sangarava says a very special gatha, Asukota gata nota bati adaraya, Vada kota meruat neta evi charaya, Lagu kota nositami pau paradaraya, Nirayata adagena yana e paraya. Those who are engaged in those activities, it says they are going into a hell or lower hell. In Sanskrit literature, a very great poet called Aswaghosa, Venerable Aswaghosa, in his Saundarananda great poem, in the 11th chapter, says a beautiful thing. It says, when you put wood into the fire would not satisfy. When you put water into the ocean will not satisfy. Similarly, when you put more and more sensual sexual pleasures into the mind of lust, the mind will never satisfy. So therefore, if someone trains that mind, it brings enormous blessings. So what are the consequences finally of the breaking of this sexual misconduct? So this is something that you should be protected. Arya Kanta Sila, the third precept, is a very serious thing that if you look after it, you get a lot of blessings. If you break that precept, the explained Buddha says consequences, you would have enemies. Everybody would not like you. And you would become very poor. You can't sleep properly. You can't wake up properly. And the person even lost the fear of being into hell. And also in their life, the person will born with a lot of problems with their sexual relationships and sexual organs. And the person will be always very angry and does not have the clear consciousness, creativity, and the person will live in anxiety and lot of fear, uncertainty, and the person will not have pleasant complexion and perfect organs, faculties. And the person would not have a comfortable life, even though they work very hard, they would earn very little because of this bad karma they have done. And finally, the person will never go into heavenly or higher realms, and the person will go into lower realms. I think this much it would reflect us the seriousness and the importance of this particular gatha today. We reflect on the 8th gatha of the Parabhava Sutta, Vasala Sutta. Whoever by force or with consent associate with the wives of relatives or friends, know him as an outcast. So in the Singalovada Sutta, Buddha mentioned as a friend that you should always look after your friends, not to abuse even in secret. If it happens, that would be a great disharmony, suffering, and even a lot of dangerous guilt, and create even some losing their life, so many trouble, arguments, dangers, and a lot of problems. Of course, Buddha said, lust is a fire that everybody likes, that can bring you temporary happiness, but for the long term, you would not believe how bad karma and how much suffering that can follow you. So like a cart put into an ox, that life would be full of suffering. So therefore, may this Dhamma reflection bring you the understanding and the purity of your practice and attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
You should allow them to ask questions on this 1-2 questions that interest they are getting. That's like student like
Presentation in questions.
When the subject with a consent.
Our Reverend Dr. Dato Sumanasri Nayaka Thera make a special request if you have, because it's a big subject, if you have any questions with particularly this subject, not other thing. I know you have a question and session at the end, but he would like to give you 1 or 2 minutes to ask any questions
on sex and consensual sex,
on the 3rd precepts or about sex and all these things, consensual things. If you have, you can ask.
Yes, anybody who likes to clear some of the misunderstanding of sex in Buddhism, welcome. Whether you are a student or whether you are a parent, whether you are a devotee or just a listener, you're most welcome.
Now we will start first their presentations, then they will have more time to ask the questions, right? So thank you very much. Now, before we start, I would like to share some quotes. Children, as you know that you all are doing very well. One of our regular person is posting all kind of celebrating the birthday. Let us bring our hearts and minds together. So somebody asked me to share this. So this is to wish Vidun a very happy birthday.
Happy birthday
has said. Thank you very much. And we'll get back to our Rasika to continue the children's presentation. After that, we'll have the time to ask questions and to finish with the meditation. Once again, thank you very much for our venerable monks for making Dhamma reflection today, which is a very hard subject, but it has been a very thought-provoking day. So may our venerable monks be well and happy. Now I will pass on to Rasika to continue with the Dhamma.
Silu Hamdrunu Anselagin Avasarai, Teru Ansarnai Silu Denatum. Good evening to all of you. Thank you very much again for wishing Vidun a happy birthday. I think he has a few words to say.
I'd like to say thank you to everyone because this is special. It's not normal having a birthday on Dhamma school. So yeah. Thank you every single one of all three Hamaduru. Teruan Saranai.
Thank you, Vidun. So we learned the 8th Gatha today from Vasala Sutta, which basically described how you become a civilized person, and also how you become an outcast when it comes to the precept Kame Samichachara Veramani Sikkhapada Samadhi. So we learned that a civilized person has a special characteristic that he or she respects his or her marriage, as well as he or she respects others' marriages. And it is a special characteristic, moral action. That's Buddha's words. And on the other hand, if someone is not respecting their marriages or marriages of others by engaging in adultery and extra marital activities, that person could be making relationships with other parties by force or with consent. Either way, it is a grossly immoral action.
Grossly.
So Hamdru, all three Hamdru explained to us in detail how this immoral behavior leads to one's downfall, basically, and how it will affect one's life's progress if you understand this subject from the point of view of Buddha's teachings. So I would very respectfully wish all Hamdru in the temple well and happy Teruan Sarai. Let's move to our next step, which is the homework. So we learned last week the 7th Gatha, which described the false speech in any situation is an immoral action. So we would like to hear your interpretation of that gatha. And I would kindly ask the first person to start your presentation. And it's Sachin. Thank you very much.
Dear one Sanai, today I'll be talking about the seventh gatha of Pali Sutta. Yo hatte hetu pali hetu danne hetu chayonado sakki puttu musabluti tamjana vasaluriti. He, for his own personal reasons, or for the sake of others, or as a reason of resolving or destroying wealth. If a witness and questions, utters lies, knows him as an outcast. Uttering lies is breaking the fourth precept, which is Musawada Vedamani Sikkadang Samadhyami, which means abstaining from telling lies. Fixed action also means committing one of the 10 unwholesome actions. It is the duty of a member of any civilized society to state the facts that are real and not lies, while giving any evidence in order to make sure it is not a lie. If a person has witnessed some illegal or immoral action taking place and is asked to give some evidence for that case, if a person decides to give false evidence for reasons of themselves, for someone else, or for the sake of money and wealth, it is an extremely immoral act. Tiruvan Sanai.
Thank you, Sachitaya. Yo atta hetu para hetu dana hetu chayonaro sakya putto musa bruti tanjanya vasalo iti. Meaning of this stanza is, he who, for his own sake, or for the sake of others, or the sake of wealth, utters lies when questioned, as a witness, known him as an outcast. Teruvan Saranai.
Thank you, Nangi. Yo atte hetu para hetu danna hetu chayo naro sakki putto mesabruti tamjanna vasalo iti. Meaning, he who for his own sake or for the sake of others or for the sake of wealth utters lies when questions, as a witness, known him as an outcast.
Thank you, Sadhu. Yo ata hetu para hetu dan hetu chayo naru sakki putto musabrati danjanya vasaloiti. The meaning of this gatha is false speech in any situation is an immoral action. It is the duty of a member of any civilized society to state the true facts whilst giving evidence in order to carry out justice. When a person with witnessed some illegal action taking place and is asked to give evidence, if the person resorts to giving false evidence for one's own sake, for the sake of someone else or for the source of money, it is an immoral act. He is breaking the fourth of the 5 precepts of abstaining from false speech and is also committing one of the 10 unwholesome actions. Thank you for listening. Teruan Saranai.
Rayom is not in today. Can the other person start, please?
Buddha Saranai. Yo ate tu pavahe tu danahe tu chayo navo sakki futto musabruti tanjanya vasalo iti. The meaning of this gatha is to lie when questioned as a witness, for his or another's sake or for wealth. By this, one is breaking one of the 5 precepts, do not lie. The reason they would do this may be so they would earn money from the lying side when asked about the truth. This makes one an outcast because of how they did the wrong thing for their own and others' benefits. Teruan Saranai. Thank you, Kevin Money. Yo atta hetu pala hetu dana hetu cha yo nara sakya putto musabruhi tangchanya vasalo iti. Tamahu wena keneku wenuen tanayahu wena deyak wenuen asana witarawatai the boruen ekena wasalaya ki melasina. The English meaning of this gatha is he who for his own sake or for the sake of others or for the sake of wealth utters lies when questioned as a witness. Know him as an outcast. If a person lies or false speech, they can do any other unwholesome actions, for example, killing, stealing, and a list of other immoral actions. Also, Buddha mentioned from the 5 precepts that we need to avoid lying to others. Musawada veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Thank you for listening. Teruan Saranai.
Thank you, Metul Mali and Nihalinangi. Yo ate tu pare tu dane tu chayo naro sakki putto musabruti tanjanya vasalo iti. Whoever lies when questioned, for their own sake, the sake of others, and for wealth, know him as an outcast. Malli, do you remember that this is one of the 5 precepts? Yes, Sakka. The 4th precept, Musabada Veramani Sikka Padang Samadhyami, means to refrain from lying. Therefore, if you break the 5 precepts and lie for your own sake and for the sake of others, you are an outcast. Thank you for listening. Teruan Saranai.
Thank you, Avishi Aki and Hasanduaya. Yo atta hetu para hetu dana hetu chayo naro sakki putto musabruti tamjanya vasalo iti.
False speech in any situation is an immoral action. It is the duty of a member of a civilized society to state the true facts while giving evidence to carry out justice. When a person has witnessed some illegal action taking place and is asked to give evidence, if the person resorts to giving false evidence for one's own sake, for the sake of someone else, or for the sake of money, it is an immoral act.
He is breaking the fourth of the 5 precepts of abstaining from false speech and is also committing one of the 10 unwholesome actions. Lying is the act of telling others by word or deed, or by actions, that there is something that is not there, that there is something that is not, and that what has not happened is what happened, with the intention of deceiving others.
Here are some definitions of lying. The first definition is to not give something by hiding it. The second definition is to hide what you have done wrong.
This is the result of lying. Liars are despised in this world, are distrusted by others. Sometimes they are also punished for lying. Liars suffer for billions of years, born in hell after that sinful death, born as beasts and suffer a lot. Those who have ugly teeth, there are those who have teeth that do not last.
The benefits of avoiding lying. Some of them are receiving bright innards, receiving a sweet voice, having a body that is not overweight, and having an extremely lean body.
Having trustworthy words and receiving a smooth red tongue that resembles a feather.
The Blessed One says that the one who commits a lie is a liar, but the one who celebrates in a lie is far more a liar than the liar. The Blessed One also said that the person who separates from the lie is a virtuous person. And if one celebrates the separation of a lie, they are more virtuous than a virtuous person.
Therefore, on such a day, let all the wise take action or to take care of their own offspring and the offspring of others in the Dhamma of the virtues. Thank you for listening. Teruvan Saranai.
Hello everyone, today I am going to talk about the 7th Gatha of Vasala Sutra, Discourse of Outcasts. Yo atte hetu para hetu dana hetu chayo navo sakiputtu musaputi tam janna vasalo iti. This gatha means that whoever provides false evidence for the sake of himself, others, or wealth shall become an outcast. The Gatha talks about personal qualities and discipline. The meaning of this Gatha is also linked to the 4th line of the 5 precepts. Musavada Veramani Sikkha Padang Samadhyami. Thank you for listening, everyone. Teruvan Saranai.
Thank you, everyone. Good to hear you have understood last week's Gatha and you know how to explain it in a good way. So thank you very much for doing your homework. I can see 3 people without cameras. If you like to talk, you can unmute and talk, even if you don't want to put the camera on. Like Dhatu Sumanasiri Nayaktera said, if you have any questions, you can ask now. No questions? Okay, let me ask a question with regard to last week's Gatha. We said that lying in any situation is an immoral action. Last week, Hamdru explained that lying is a sin because we know that already. Musavada Veramani Sikkha Padang Samadhyami. So if you break that precept, you will get sin. But for that sin to complete, there must be 4 elements that should meet in order to complete that sin. Can someone recall what are those 4 conditions or elements? One by one. Vidun, one.
They cannot be the truth.
What does that mean?
So like wait, so the question was 4 elements
4
to make a
elements.
lie.
Not to make a lie, to complete that sin by lying.
You have to either mentally, bodily, or verbally act by doing something that is not the truth. So like verbally saying, for example, if a crime has gone place or something, then you were the one who stole something, or I don't know. Then
lying
say
comes,
that someone else did it, and you yeah.
So lying comes under which category? Mental.
5 precepts.
Mental, verbal, or verbal. It comes under verbal.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So what is the condition that needs?
It can't be the truth.
What does that mean?
So like for it to be a lie, it's not the truth.
Yeah. So knowing that it is not true.
Yes.
Yeah, that's one thing. Okay. Anyone else? Hasinda?
Making the effort to lie.
Yeah. How would you give an example, Hasinda?
So like if you're asked something, so your parents ask, have you done your homework?
Yeah.
And instead of saying, being truthful, you try and instead say something else. Like if you were watching something, you'd say, oh, I'm doing it right now. Or I finished it.
Good. Thank you. Thank you, Hasinda. Right. So we have 2 answers. Anyone else who would like to think about what these 4 conditions would be? Atul Mehli? Any idea? Seth? Sachin?
Can you repeat the question?
Right. Okay.
4 elements.
So there are 4 elements, 4 things that needs completing for someone to get this sin.
Yeah.
When you lie. So the 2 answers were given, that you should know that it is a lie, the intention, and Hasinda said the attempt to lie. Effort. Yeah. Effort to lie. Plan to lie. Is that clear now?
It is, yes.
Okay. Avisha, your hand was up. No? All right. Okay.
You have to execute the lie. Not execute by, I mean physically execute something.
So that means telling that lie.
Yes.
Okay.
So you say you have the plan and then you actually do it.
Right. You actually do it. Okay.
Yes.
Any other ideas?
Is that one?
We'll have a look at it.
Never mind.
We'll get the answer later. But I want you to brainstorm.
Yeah.
What are those conditions should be. Yes, sir.
So probably have we had like thinking of like the lie and doing it a lot of times and then you do it again?
You keep on doing the lie. You pursue.
Right. So continue lying. Is that what you say? Or
Yes.
repeating the same lie over and over again.
Yeah, keeping on lying.
Keep on lying. I think you didn't quite understand what the question is. So someone has lied, and now it is going to be a bad consequence for them. For it to become bad consequence, or sin we call it, for you to get the sin, there are 4 conditions that need completing.
Stop reading.
I can't think of another way.
Me neither.
No.
That's what.
So there are 2 answers already. One condition is that the intention to lie. You know that it is going to be a lie when you say it.
Is that what I said?
And another thing is making an effort to lie.
What about the third one?
Vidunya, any idea?
No, I can't think of anything.
Are we allowed to have any hints? Or do we
Right.
need to fully guess the answer?
You don't have to guess, but we learned it last week from Hamaduru.
That is some people really do. Don't put too much pressure. This person, this person, this person, this person.
Chanadi.
You need a plan?
Yeah, we need a plan. I think we discussed.
Yeah,
that. Hasindu said that making an effort. So it comes under plan. Plan to lie.
Doesn't plan. Does he? Wait, what?
Said.
Not learning about that you shouldn't lie in the first place.
Not learning.
Basically, not.
He means
the
like,
Dhamma in the first place.
Not like if you did a lie and then it, like parents said. Get now.
Never mind. Bother think.
Okay. Right.
Stop laughing.
Yeah, Hasindu.
Would the last one be lying with the intention to deceive? So when you're lying, you want to lie.
So you want to lie, that is the intention. Yeah?
Yeah.
And you make an effort to lie. Then you do the lie.
So the first one would be like Vidunya said, you need to know that what you're going to say, what you're saying is not the truth. Then we also know that you have to make an effort to lie, and you have to lie. So the last one will be the having the intention to lie.
Yeah. What is the purpose of lying, Hasinda?
To avoid, it's used like to keep out of the truth, or to protect oneself or somebody else from a truth which could
end up in serious consequences.
Yes, yeah, you're right. So if you say a single word for that, deceiving the other person, isn't it?
Yeah.
Deceiving the other person.
That's 4 words. But never mind.
Yeah. And then telling, actually executing the lie, that means actually saying those words. That's good. So you came up to an answer.
Is that all of them?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
That's everything.
So has everyone understood that question? Metal, Mehalli, have you understood the question? So what are the 4 conditions that needs satisfying for a lie to be a sin?
The last one I can remember was that you need to have the intention to lie and the effort to lie.
Yeah, effort to lie, intention to lie.
There's 2.
Need to lie.
And what is the purpose of lying?
To deceive.
How do you deceive a lie? If a
To
lie
keep away from the truth, or so you think that
When you lie to a person, what will happen to that person? He will be deceived. He will be cheated. Right?
He will be wily.
Yes.
He will be sly.
Set.
Unmuted.
Did you get around the question and are the answers making sense to you?
Yes, they are. They're very clear.
Sachit? Did you understand the question and the answers?
I didn't understand.
You didn't understand. Right.
Can I see them?
So let's take an example. So let us say you want to make a cup of tea. So what are the steps to be completed?
So they are I think to boil some water, put the water into a cup and then like put a tea bag in. Tea. And then you have to wait for it to brew. After that, you can add like sugar or milk. It depends on what you want.
Yeah. So until you do the last step, it is not a cup of tea, is it?
No.
Yeah. So if you take those steps that you have just told us as tick boxes, and you tick them as you do them, you complete all the steps and you get a cup of tea. Like that, when someone lies, right, there are 4 elements, 4 tick boxes need to be ticked off so that it will become a sin. Yes?
Yes.
When you lie, it is an immoral activity, isn't it? Immoral act. Yes, unwholesome action. So that unwholesome action to be completed, those tick boxes must be ticked off. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Makes it.
Okay. Good. You have a question? Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Is it good or bad? So if you lie for the good of others, is that technically a good thing because you're making them like not being punished or something? You're like helping them in a way.
Right. Okay. So let's go around the room. Avishi and Hasid.
That's you.
I think it depends on the context of that lie. So say you and some good people are traveling on the road and some robbers come and say, do you have money? This is just a made up scenario. And you say, no, we don't have any money. So they go away, which will probably not happen, but just a story. Then it's a good lie because you're keeping the other safe. But if on the other hand, you're friends with a bunch of murderers and they've just murdered a person, and you're in court saying, no, they did not murder them, they did not murder them, then that would be a bad lie because, like we learned in the Vasala Sutra, you are lying as a witness for the benefaction of others.
Right.
I was also going to say the perfect for me, the good example of this is Anne Frank from World War II. She and her family hid in her house, and her family friends kept her safe by lying to Nazis where they were. So it depends what they're doing. If it's to keep others safe from danger, then it can be taken as a positive, like it's not
Good thing.
exactly a bad thing. But if it's like what my sister said, it's a bad thing.
Okay. Good, thank you. Any other ideas?
I think that's the answer.
What do you think, Monica? Monica is gone. Monica. What do you think about that, Monica?
Yeah.
To lie for a good cause, is it a good thing or a bad thing? Sachin?
So like Hasn't to explain. I think like it depends. It depends. So for example, if I say like let's say like someone wants to steal like kill like certain people, like for example like if they're like politicians, for example, please like if they're like bad people, like want to like use it for my own good, and I say that if they say like am I like a part of that certain group, and if it's like if the consequences will be like very bad, then you could die. It's a good die, and it also like may protect like your associates as well. as it spells like. So like protecting yourself from murder is a good lie. Like a bad lie is like doing the opposite. Like it's basically like you're doing a murder but saying that you're not doing it, which is breaking the seventh gata for Vasala. It's documenting the seventh gata for Vasala Sutta. Sutta.
Did you get all that?
So that's what I believe. Like it like Carson just said, like it depends.
Okay. Right. Thank you, Sachin.
I got the answer.
Any others who would like to? Comment on that question? Kavin, any idea?
I don't really have I don't really have any other idea.
So what do you think about lying and its consequences? Is lying, sorry, let me rephrase that question. So is lying a good thing to protect one of your friends, for example?
Oh, I think it's a good thing if it's to help someone else. But if it's not to help someone else, like if it's just for yourself, I don't really think it's a good thing.
Because then you only care about self and not others.
Okay, thank you, Kavin. Sadev. What do you think, Sadev? Lying to protect one of your friends.
Sometimes lying might be good, like if, like pretend like when your mom tells you not to go somewhere, then your mom tells like a lie to keep yourself safe and not going there, and you might get hurt.
Right.
That's a good thing.
Mhm. Yeah.
Mhm.
Metal and metal.
So I think that if you're trying to say a lie to help others, then it's a good lie. But if it's just for yourself or like there's something that you don't want to happen, like if you were playing video games and you said to your mum that you haven't,
Okay.
so that's basically a bad lie because you don't want yourself to get in trouble.
Right.
For the sake of your shame.
So now we have a bit of a dilemma, isn't it, in front of us?
What is it?
Manuka.
What's the dilemma?
Well, sometimes like parents would lie to their kids just to settle them down. Like say if like the children, they don't want to eat their food, then the parents might say, please eat because the police are going to come. So that way that will make them eat. It is like deceiving, but it won't really harm or hurt anyone.
Good, thank you.
It's a bit aggressive, but never mind.
Thank you.
Sorry, cut that.
Right. I can't see Hamdru.
He's put his video off, that's why.
Hamdru, are you there? Oh, Hamdru is there. Right.
I'm muted.
So children, so it looks like we have a bit of a dilemma about lies, isn't it? So you're thinking that lying is a bad thing, but at the same time you're thinking that if you lie for a good cause, it is a good thing. So I would really like to get the opinion of Hamduru on that question, Hamduru.
So what was the question, Rasika, again?
So we have been discussing about the lies, Hamduru. So we talked about what are the 4 conditions that should meet in order to in order to become a lie, to become a sin.
Yes.
And Vidun asked a question.
Yes.
If you lie for a good cause,
yes,
for example, to protect your friend or family,
yes,
and I will show you an example as well. So you're still lying, but
It's a good thing or a bad thing, and we don't know what it is.
So what is the consequence, basically? If it is if you're lying for a good cause, is it still going to be a sin because it is a lie?
Yes, that is a good question.
Yeah.
Lie is a bad thing. It doesn't have any good thing in there. So even though you lie in good intention, whether it is in the family or it is in the court, lying can't be a good thing. Even though it is small or even though it is big, it still is unwholesome thing. And if you are lying to kind of make someone please or make someone into a good direction, you can say it in a different way. And you can still escape from it. You can still not say that. The word has a magical aspect. If your mother says or father says that if you don't eat, police will come, that can be a truth. It's not a lie. Police will come. Eventually, it can happen. So don't think that your parents are lying. No, they are saying the truth. Eventually, it can happen. So, however, Buddha said that 5 things people are saying lying for 5 things. Attanuwada, baya. Because of afraid of themselves, they can lie. So they are afraid of themselves. So paranuwada, baya, because of afraid of others, they would lie. Lokanuwada, baya, because of the world. Oh, my daughter has passed the exam. Because they wanted to say it, because they feel like ashamed about the world. The world would think that they haven't done better. So therefore, lokanuwada baya means afraid of the world, they lie. Dandanuwada baya means for the punishment, afraid of punishment, they can lie. Vipakanuwada baya, because of the consequences, what is going to happen, somebody can lie. So therefore, different ways people can lie, but lie is a lie. Truth is a truth. So how can it become a lie? Knowing that is not true. Asatyak vima. Second thing, intention to deceive others. අන්‍යයන් රවටන ස්වභාවය. Third one, exercise in line by word or action. And the fourth thing, as a result, the person get lost or misdirected or misunderstand. The person who listen to that understand as a truth, but you said a lie. So that if those four were being mentioned, then it is a lie. Here, however, it says alpa savadya, maha savadya. Great lie, big, small lies, white lies, and dark lies. So sometimes people says this white lies is okay, like devil is behind the house. If you do not eat, the devil come and eat the food. It can happen, who knows? It could not be a lie. There are some evil spirits, devils. If they do not put the plate food, then they will eat it. So we don't know. So likewise, so they are called small lies and some are called big lies. So therefore, to my understanding, of course, you are saying it for deceiving, but even though it is a small lie, is a lie, it is a bad thing. Well, does it make any sense? Meheli, did it make a sense? You think you agree with it?
Yes.
Very good. So Vidun?
I agree.
Yes.
Yes.
I agree.
It was Manuka said that police people will come, is it?
I thought it's a good example, for the.
It is a beautiful example. It's a good example. So Manuka, do you think that what I said is right, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I like what you said. It's really nice. That's what I picked it.
So I think now Hamdullah has given the answer.
Yeah.
So what you have to, thank you, Hamdullah.
Thank you.
What you have to now, there is no dilemma anymore.
Yeah.
If you tick those 4 boxes, it will be a lie. And now Hamdullah further explained that there will be a white lie and dark lie, depending on how, what are the consequences of those lies, the severity will be higher. Okay, so there's no good lies and bad lies. Lie is a lie.
Lie is a lie.
Lie is a lie. Okay. So thank you very much for your feedbacks and participating and trying to share your knowledge with everyone else. And that active participation, I really appreciate. Thank you so much. So next week, there will be no Dhamma school because Hamduru has an important activity to attend.
Is it?
Hamduru, back to you, Terusarma.
Okay, then I will do a few minutes meditation to finish our day today. So whole day is being sponsored, this program being sponsored in on behalf of Vidun to wish him a happy birthday. So Vidun facilitate today program for everyone to learn. What a wonderful way to celebrate the birthday. To celebrate the birthday with other children, learning the Dhamma, asking questions, and that's food to the mind. You know, you might bring a cake and eat a lot of rice and curry, and you will get weight and you would feel lazy and you would have more tiredness, and eventually you would not get much. You get fun and you would not get much wisdom. But this way, you get the monks here, you listen to the monks, and you learn a lot, you were asking questions. That what a wonderful way to celebrate the birthday by generating blessings. So therefore, it is a very meritorious thing. And final good thing we are going to do is few minutes meditation. So when somebody sponsors this program, it all helps the temple to continue. And therefore, you get more merits. So let us practice few minutes meditation together. Selecting a comfortable posture. Keep your body still, calm. And the eyes gently close. Once your body experience whether it is relaxed, whether it is comfortable, taking a gentle breath slowly in, hold for a few seconds. Breathe slowly down, relaxing the body. Once again, take a deep breath slowly in. Hold for a few seconds. Breathe slowly out, relaxing the body. Breathe slowly in. Hold for a few seconds. Breathe slowly out, relaxing the body. Now, keep your attention at the tip of the nostrils, right above the lips. Just experiencing the breath naturally goes in, naturally goes out. Breath normally goes in. Breath normally goes out. Just repeatedly experience the breath. Let every part of your body calm, relax. Simply experiencing the air at the tip of the nostrils. And then recite silently in the mind the metta bhavana, loving kindness meditation. May I be well. May I be happy. May I be peaceful. Really take that into your heart and let your actions, let your body, let your mind and everything to become calm, to become humble, to become a kind person. May I maintain my well-being. May I attain spiritual bliss. As I am, may my parents, all in my family, and others, monks, teachers, neighbors, and all be well. May all beings be happy. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be free from anger. May all beings be free from hatred. May all beings be free from envy. May all beings be free from suffering. May all beings maintain their well-being. May all beings attain spiritual bliss. And sit for 1 minute in silence before we finish our meditation. Bringing our palms jointly together, let us share our merits for having this opportunity. Our monks, our teachers, our parents, our children, may they all share our merits. Devas who rejoice in our merits, share our merits and return their blessings. The grandparents or parents or whoever no longer with us, may they equally share our blessings. And may all be well, happy and peaceful. So let us share the blessing by saying 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good week.
Thank you very much for all the children. You did a really excellent job today when you are meditating. Wonderful. And I hope that you will continue to do. Exercise this behavior going forward when you are meditating. Thank you. තෙරුවන් සරණයි. තෙරුවන් සරණයි හඳුනන.
තෙරුවන් සරණයි රසිකයි.
Teruan Saranai Hamdurne. Thank you.
Teruwan Saranai Hamdurne.
Teruwan Saranai Hamdurne.
තෙරුවන් සරණයි.
Teruwan Saranai Hamdurane.
තෙරුවන් සරණයි. Happy birthday. එහෙනම් තෙරුවන් සරණයි රසිකයි. තෙරුවන් සරණයි.